Over 80% of our direct-to-seller deals are coming from one type of list, and it's not the old school blanket list like most investors are still pulling. The game has changed, but most investors are still marketing like it's 5 years ago. Today, I'm going to show you why we've completely changed the way we think about data and how predictive AI data has transformed the front end of our marketing.
If you're new here, I'm Tiffany. Hi. I'm the co-founder of Heels Homes and Results Driven REI alongside my wonderful husband and business partner, Josh High. And after experiencing well over 2,000 real estate transactions and coaching over 5,000 students nationwide,
I can confidently say that we've made every mistake there is to make, and now we help investors just like you avoid them so that you can live in what I call option freedom. The ability to do what you want, when you want, with whoever the hell you want. Now, one of the biggest shifts we've made in our direct-to-seller marketing is how we think about data. Right now, over 80% of our direct-to-seller deals are falling on this one type of list. And it's not just this like big absentee owner list. It's not high equity or vacant houses or the old school approach of pulling this huge blanket list, skip tracing it, and hoping someone on there happens to want to sell. The biggest shift is AI predictive data. And the reason that this matters is because most investors are trying to win by calling more people, texting more people, mailing more people, and just pushing out value. But the real game is not just value. The real game is getting in front of the right people. Because if your data is weak, guys, everything downstream from there gets a lot harder. Right? Your cost per contract will go up. Your team has to make more calls if you have a team. Your conversations are worse because they're not motivated, right? So morale drops. And then you start blaming the marketing channel or the market or the sales team if you have one, when really the first problem was the data itself. So in this video, I want to break down why AI predictive data is so powerful and how we think about different data types and why there is really no reason anymore to rely on these big blanket cheap lists when better data is available. All right, so a lot of investors get taught in these, what I call newbie programs, right? We all started somewhere. And a lot of times what they do is you get on a platform and these big broad lists like absentee owner, high equity, vacancy, tired landlord, they're damn near like free. Very cheap. Now, just because somebody doesn't live in the house does not mean they're motivated. Just because someone has equity doesn't mean they're motivated to sell. So years ago, when I got in the industry, what was popular to do is you would pull these big lists. The more data you could get, the better. And then you would keep feeding more and more data to the cold callers. And then the cold calling companies would say, we need more data. The data is the problem. So you would make more calls, more texts, more mail, all that stuff. These are too broad. So if I could tell you there's a solution to going deeper, not wider, so that we don't have more cold callers, more texts, more mail, we just get in front of the right people, wouldn't you want that? The issue is we're not filtering motivation the right way by pulling these big lists. So imagine going from, and if you're like a one-man show on here, hopefully you don't go down this rabbit hole, but way back in the day, for the people that are on here who've been in the game long enough, you know that we used to just pull mass data from the county and send it to these callers and just hope that there was deals in there. What if we could have one cold caller instead of 10 getting just as many deals? Or if you're a one-man show, you're the one dialing, so I doubt you want to dial people that aren't motivated. So we need to think of the data as a filter for motivation, and the less volume in that data set, the better, right? So like in my county, for example, there's about 140 to 150 investor transactions a month, not 500,000 like the data I used to pull. So wouldn't we want to get closer and closer to only targeting that 150 per month? It'd make all of our lives a lot easier, right? We'd have more of our time back. So better data then will improve our efficiency on the sales side and keep our deal flow consistent and obviously our morale higher like we brought up. So the goal here is fewer wasted conversations, and let's get in front of the real opportunities where people are legitimately about to go sell their house. So let's look at what does that data look like. So let's take a look at what forms or makes up AI data, okay? So in the middle, right, this is AI data. First, I don't know if you know this, but your profile is bigger than you think that is public information. So Google stores lots of stuff on you. So everything that you're interested in, everything you're Googling or looking up online, they can track that down. What sports you're interested in. Do you follow any certain sports or extracurriculars, dance, etc.? What is your occupation? Your courthouse records. As we know, all of our courthouse records are public information. Our demographics, which means like they know everything about our personal demographic. Our purchase behaviors. You know what's crazy? Is that the internet knows whether you go to the gas station and someone buys, say, a Bud Light or a high-end expensive liquor or a Busch Light, okay? They know if you're buying cases or one beer at a time, and then they make decisions based on how your purchase behaviors are. Your income, it knows your income, your credit score. This is all public information. All of these things are thrown into, this is what I like to call the machine. It takes all of our property data. So if you go to your county website, as you probably know, you can look up the address and it'll give you all types of information such as the condition, the last time someone saw it. It'll talk about the square foot, the school district, the boundaries of the property, etc. So everything from ownership, mortgages that are public information, liens against the property, your school district if you've ever had a foreclosure. It knows all your neighborhood insights, the boundaries, like I said, around your property. Again, this all gets fed into this machine. Now, today, this machine, if you guys haven't used AI, it gets better and better and better as you feed it more information. So today, AI predicts well over 60% of sellers across the entire country that will sell to an investor. Now, every city is, some are better than others. So in my city, we actually go benchmark it every single month to, okay, who sold in our county to an investor? How many of those people actually were on that predictive list from the month before? And our city is over 70%. There are some cities in the country that are over 90%. So knowing that, why would we ever go pull these big blanket lists and call the masses and text the masses and waste all this time when we can narrow in, keep feeding the machine? A lot of you probably, if you've been in real estate for a while, have been taught to pull all types of lists, such as pre-foreclosures, tax liens, probates, divorce, bankruptcy, absentee owner, all of your public records, judgment liens, free and clear, bad credit, low income liens, right? There's 32 different types of lists that if you go, and there's lots of systems out there, guys. There's batch, there's PropStream, right? All those, like, I would call them data management newbie type tech that a lot of people are very familiar with. You can go onto them and probably get the majority of these lists individually. Now, what happens is those lists, a lot of these AI data providers, they already take all 32 of those lists plus way more than that, and they feed it into this machine along with your profile and along with your property data. So this machine, as of now, has well over 6,000 data points that's feeding the machine every hour of the day. And it gets better and better as more houses sell to know what to stack and how to predict who's about to sell. Powerful. Now let's think about data into 3 top priorities, right? Let's throw like the big cheap list out the window now that you understand how important good data is. One is courthouse data. Courthouse is like your eviction, your probates, your foreclosures, liens. These all are public records. It is by far the most distressed. Only these people are going through a situation in that moment, so they might not be able to close right away, right? So let's just say someone pulled or filed probate yesterday, like it's probably a 6-month process. Courthouse data, I would say, is number 1 priority because we know they have to sell. So me personally, we'll go into this in another video, but I personally target foreclosures, probates, and auctions probably the deepest. Now, let's go back to AI predictive data. So it uses the thousands, right? Over 6,000 signals to predict who's gonna sell. You know, most AI data sets, if you go to a data provider, I'll put in the description who I personally use. It's a company called DataSift. I use their platform. They also have a platform that I use for data management, and I'll go into that in a different video. And then we use their AI predictive data. The AI predictive data set is a bigger list in the sense there might be 100,000, 200,000, just depends on your city, on your county size, population. Now, they know that not everyone can afford it. So an AI per area is probably around $1,200 a month. If you're in the game and you're just getting started and you have, say, 500 to 1,000 or less to spend a month, here's what I would personally do with data. I would, 1, get the courthouse data, okay? And then 2, inside of DataSift, they have a plan where you can get their data management, smartphone as their phone system, And they have what they call niche data. And if I were you, I would actually join. They have a monthly 5-day challenge. I'm going to go ahead and put the link. We're big believers in their platform. We use it. Hundreds of our students use it. So we've negotiated a deal with them on behalf of our community. In order to take advantage of that, use the link below. And if I were you, I'm on almost every one of their 5-day challenges personally in our company. Either me or my team is. In there, they'll teach you how to pull this, target it, all that. Inside the niche data set that they sell, this is what they call the more targeted slice, okay? So let's just say from left to right, this is your big data set for AI predictive data. And since not everyone can afford that yet, they rank it from say 1 to 100. And the top 20% of the most distressed people on that list, they pull that sliver out and they give it to you for at a discount because you can't afford the big list. Again, courthouse data, #1 priority, because they are going through a courthouse situation, their psychology, and most of them, they're in a place where they have to make a change no matter what, okay? So you need to be a solution provider inside of that. A lot of times when it comes to courthouse data, I'll do another video on this. I have attorneys that I build relationships with specifically for those cases. So I have a probate attorney, a divorce attorney, a foreclosure attorney, etc., that I leverage to get through those situations so I can provide a powerful solution for those sellers. Once we get that first deal, which, by the way, if you don't get a deal right away from that list, I promise you, it's not a marketing problem. It's not a list problem. It's a sales problem, okay? Because there are deals on there. It's proven, it's predicted, and they can even show you at the end of every month or quarter that there are deals that were on that list that got sold to an investor. So it's really on you now to master the skill set of acquisitions in order to convert that data into a deal. Better data means more motivated conversations. And you are the salesperson if you're a one-man show, or you might have a sales team, but it directly affects the sales team from consistency, morale, right? And again, better data does not replace being good at the sales process. It makes the sales process more efficient because you're getting in front of the right people now. But if we don't master that skill set next, the data doesn't matter. Look, the goal isn't to market to more people. It's to market to the right people. Guys, the game is changing, and the investors who are willing to adapt are the ones who are going to create the biggest advantage for the next few years. Now, if you're looking for a better source of AI and predictive data, we'll put the link to DataSift in the description below. It's a platform, again, that we use in our own business to help us target better opportunities. But remember, better data is only one piece of the puzzle. You still need to know how to choose the right list, stack data, market to it, track your KPIs, and convert those opportunities into contracts. That is exactly what we help investors build inside of our free school community. So if you're serious about building a business that can compete in today's market, not the market from 5 years ago, click the link below and join our free school community. We go live for free every week and train on these topics.